Dave.
Hey, how are you, Wynne and Vicki? Hi.
Hi, we're
It's
good.
so
How are
good to
you?
see you.
Good.
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, talking about joy with you guys, this is fantastic.
Right, right. We were just chatting, and I said we had to hit record because we were just just the note of joy that we were having through all of our conversation is just so high. Um,
Yeah, joy is this
Yes.
conversation. Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And we were
Uh,
losing good stuff on the cutting room floor. Is that still a thing? Can I say that? Well, the
yeah,
youngsters know what that means, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So clearly, Dave, we love your project. Joy is so good. Tell us about the inspiration for it.
Well, as first the about the kind of a little bit of background about the project, of kind
Great.
of the nuts and bolts, which is kind of silly because nuts and bolts. I mean, I wanted to keep it really simple, of
Mhm.
it was joy is and then blank. And then what I threw out when I introduced the project on my blog, I said, okay, here basically two steps. Fill in the blank. Joy is whatever that is. It could be a word, it could be a phrase, it could be a sentence. Joy is a tree, joy is oranges, what have you. That was the first step. And then the second step is provide a little bit more, something besides just the title.
Mhm.
It could be whatever you like. I mean, I really wanted to keep it simple and open-ended of if you want to write a poem,
Mhm.
an essay, if your joy is a tree in your neighborhood and you want to send in a photograph of the
Yeah.
tree, ding, it's
Yep.
fantastic. So it was really that simple. I didn't want to make it overly complicated for me or for other folks too.
Hmm.
I mean, it's joy.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be puzzling.
Yeah.
Now the inspirations, kind of a mix, a blend of stuff. I
Mhm.
would say three main ones. Um, a big one is my Aunt Diane.
Mhm.
She's my mom is one of five kids, and unfortunately my Aunt Diane passed away last summer. And at the young age, she was 72.
Mm.
Um, and I have such good memories of her. And it's she had this playful spirit about her. I
Mhm.
mean, she was active. She played softball for years and then pickleball. Um, but also, just that's kind of like with other grown-ups, but with kids, she would go out to, play carnival games with you, whatever it was. She did
Mm.
not want to stand in the background. She wanted to be involved in the fun, like
Yeah.
I just if it was when I was a kid, she would jump in because I grew up in Rehoboth Beach, and there's on the boardwalk there's it's called Fun Land, and they have rides and carnival type games, and she would bring us there, and she would play those games too. It wasn't like, oh, you guys have fun, I'll just stand over on the side, and she'd be playing right with us. And
Mm.
when I was a
Uh,
kid, and when I have two daughters, and when they were younger, and Aunt Diane and her husband Steve would get together sometimes with us for Easter, and Diane was right there with us dyeing Easter eggs. What? So it's
Yeah.
just like that I loved that spirit about her of just
Mhm.
wanting to be involved in the fun.
Yeah.
Um, and just thinking about her a lot about her, since she passed away in the summer. And this project in a way kind of felt like remembering her more and
Mhm.
honoring her in that
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
playful spirit.
Mhm.
Um, so that was one. Another one was a book I read, gosh, maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly. But the book is it's called The Book of Delights,
Mm.
and it's by Ross Gay. And I think I saw it on another, I follow some book reviewer bloggers, and I
Mhm.
think one of them, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who mentioned it. I wish I could. Um, but the idea behind the book is that a project that Ross Gay gave himself.
Mm.
He started on his birthday, and he said, I'm going to notice one delight a day,
Mm.
go out purposefully, to not just have this stuff happen accidentally around me and not notice it, on purposefully notice one a day and write about it each
Yeah.
day for a year. And
Wow.
I think he skipped some days, and the book is a product of that. And when in the introduction he describes the project, and he really blew me away with one thing he said. Well, several things, but one in particular was that as he started doing this, somewhere in the beginning, he developed what he called a delight muscle. In
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
in meaning, and he meant that the more he looked for delights,
Hmm.
the more he noticed.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
was, it was like he said he had something. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was like as if the delights were waving their hands and saying,
Oh,
"Look over here, look over
Yeah.
here. Notice me and
yeah.
learn about me." And like they were
Yeah.
already there,
Yeah.
and
I
he,
love that because I often
yeah,
think we are, I think it was a professor that said this to me a million years ago. We are what we attend to,
Hmm.
especially now when we're trying to like sort through what's worthy of my time and attention.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, his
Well,
delight bustle.
and I
yeah,
think Brene Brown describes joy as an upward spiral.
Yeah. Yep.
It, you start to spiral yourself up instead of down.
I
Yeah.
re I really like that image.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
it goes well with the delight muscle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Flex that muscle. Hmm. Yeah.
it's that your environment didn't change. It's just that you opened your eyes and your
Hmm.
mind and your heart more,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
Hmm.
notice those things more.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah, I really that kind of purposeful looking.
Hmm. Purposeful
Hmm.
I love.
looking.
I definitely I loved that. As far as
Hmm.
like, and it's and you read a book or watch a movie or something, and something sticks with you, and that one has stuck with me. That
Hmm.
message really has.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's
so that's the
good.
second inspiration, and there's one more.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
I'm taking taking 20 minutes to.
No, no, no. I'm
Oh,
taking notes. So this
right.
is
Me
good.
too.
Yeah. Hmm.
So the other inspiration was more the format,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Teri Polen, who is also on WordPress,
Hmm.
and I think in October, she runs what she calls Bad Moon Rising.
Hmm.
And that's for every day during the month of October. She'll have interviews of writers, and you can
Hmm.
promote a book. And in the spirit of the season, there'll be writers of thriller books, of horror stories, and so
Hmm.
on. And I've done it twice, 2 years in a row, and I've really enjoyed it. Not only for it's really cool to, she'll send you some interview questions and you go through them, but it's also just being introduced to other people.
Hmm.
I've met some great writers through there, and like, hey, I didn't know you had a book, and now you have a blog. I'll follow your blog.
Yeah.
So that was that I really
Hmm.
like that format. So I
Hmm.
thought, well, for this project, the Joy Project, well, I'll just do that too with starting in late January. Um, I will do it every day. I'll try to post every day through January and then through February. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow, those are like three powerful points of inspiration. I'm
Hmm.
imagining you sitting like having these like a three-pronged epiphany, right, where the inspiration comes from. But I wanted
Yeah.
to tell you too, I forget what post it was, but what you described about your Aunt Diane and her like joie de vivre.
Hmm.
There's an image that you shared of her on her wedding day jumping on top of your Uncle Steve's car, right? That just it so embodies, everything you
Hmm.
were describing about the photo was infectious, just looking
Hmm.
at her in one dimension. So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my gosh, as far as the pictures that talk, have 1,000 words that say 1,000.
Yeah.
To me, that one says a million because
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
haven't seen the picture, it's she's in the wedding dress that she made. She's barefoot, and it's right after the wedding ceremony to her husband Steve. and she jumps on his car,
Mhm.
and she basically says, this is half mine now. Um, and it wasn't done out of greed of like, oh my gosh, yay. It wasn't, it
Yeah,
wasn't like it was a Rolls Royce or a BMW. We're talking about maybe a Honda or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Sedan.
yeah.
And this is it's it's funny too, the memory thing, because I was there. This is back in 78. So I would have been 6 years old. I wish I remembered it, but because of the
Yeah,
seeing the photo so often,
Mhm.
I think
yeah,
it's just like I made up, hearing the story,
yeah,
seeing the photo, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I've made up a memory more than I actually genuinely remember it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Hmm.
but it was a beautiful,
Powerful.
beautiful
So
moment.
good.
Oh my
Beautiful, beautiful
gosh.
spirit. Beautiful
So
spirit.
good. Well, so when you started all this and you put the thought into it and you kind of revealed what your intentions were, you
Mhm.
got a tremendous response, but were you surprised? How are you feeling about all of that now?
I feel humbled. I didn't have expectations going in of
Yeah.
like, oh, this will be really exciting, and people will take it and run with it and I'll get tons of responses. I didn't have expectations. I had hopes, you
Hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Part of it was for me, and I was like, hey, I want to try this joy thing, and if three people reply, so be it. Then I'll have a bunch of I have silly poems and silly drawings. I'll put those up. That'll be
Right.
fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the response, I think about 20. Both of you guys, thank you very
Mhm.
much, have supplied posts. But just the gratitude of
Mhm.
when the emails came in and people said, "Hey, is it still time to
Yeah.
available?" And like, yes, please. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
Mhm.
throw it out. No, I'm not gonna say no to that. And I've
Right.
been really, really grateful for it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And bits of momentum too, because I know people who didn't know about it, who were reading things, that we wrote about it, and enjoying your
Mhm.
project and the contributions. There were a couple of other people who were like, well, wait a minute, I want to raise my hand for that too. And all
Mhm.
of that is just sort of, yeah, just extra special because you can see kind of the swelling of good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if people told other people about it, I love that. I said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, I encourage you to throw in your hat, because for me it didn't have to be something new. It could be an
Mhm.
old blog
Yeah.
post.
Mhm.
If I think that happened a few times of something a blogger wrote 2 or 3 years ago,
Mhm.
throw it
Hmm.
in there. Give it
Yeah.
a little extra life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and there's been so much diversity in it. Music,
Yeah.
art, poetry, lists. We've got something from your wife Sue. I mean,
Yes.
it's
And the other
just
Molly,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
From Task,
I
right?
have
Yeah.
twin daughters, and one
Yeah.
of them had joy is when someone learns your name, because a lot of times people couldn't tell them
yeah,
apart. So
So
yeah.
good.
just
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, just so many good, and I mean, you left it open enough, as you said was your intention, and you
Yeah.
boy has that delivered.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. And part of the fun of when seeing posts get published, and then the one, and when you're within WordPress and you can
Mhm.
see the published posts, and there's a list.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
you'll see it as I'm going to publish kind of a table of contents at the very
Mm.
end. And the powerful thing
Nice.
of joy is spending time with family. Joy is, and you go down this list of joy is, joy is, joy is, and it's such a powerful thing, because
Yeah.
there's so many, like, it could be, remembering wildflowers, I think
Mhm.
Kim was one, and
Yeah.
then Nigel did running in the rain
Mhm.
at 4 a.m. And it's just like all
Yeah.
these
Mhm.
different, and I really appreciated the more specific ones of like,
Mm. Mhm.
it's, and so
Yeah.
it's really, really neat to see that list
Yeah.
of joy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Like you said, even at like a table of contents level,
Mhm.
Mhm.
just by including the titles, I hadn't thought about that, but
Mhm.
there's inspiration there just at that like quick take.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll be posting that at the end of, okay, here's a kind of a
Good.
wrap up, and you can see the power of joy is so and so.
That's so good.
And
And
when will the end be, right? If it could go on forever, right, Wynne?
It could.
Yeah.
It could. I did put an end date on it, as the end of February
Mhm.
for at least me posting once a day. and I'm almost out of as far as schedules
Mm,
for other, posts by other people.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I'm kind of transitioning to stuff of my own.
Yeah.
Like I said, the silly poems
Yeah.
and drawings, like I mentioned. Um, and it's been fun for that too. Of like if it makes people smile,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
just hey, that's a big
Yeah.
bonus for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of February, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I love that because I mean, especially your table of contents. I mean, you've done such a good job of creating community with this
Mm-hmm.
project, and is that sort of an unexpected side benefit for you?
Yeah, it was surprising in that I didn't really think that far ahead.
Hmm.
Um, I it's kind of funny to laugh about it now that, in mentioning the Terry Pollen's blog of the Bad
Hmm.
Moon Rising,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a community building too, because
Hmm.
you see in the
Yeah.
comment of people supporting each other, like, I really liked your answer to this interview question or that.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like reflected in the Joy Is project of people saying, great poem, great painting, great whatever. And I really appreciated that. But as far as in the beginning, I didn't think of it, like maybe I
Right.
should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great side benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think it's hard to know sometimes because, for non-blogging friends that may be tuning in, WordPress is a vast place. And
Hmm.
I think, over time we find our little communities within, but I was really struck by meeting some people that know you,
Hmm.
who were kind to me when I posted, and now we're connected. And
Hmm.
so, I think there's a little bit of that wanting an endorsement, wanting to trust. But I think you fast track that for some people by, easing the introduction by saying, bring a little bit of yourself forward,
Hmm.
that yeah, was really a very beautiful, unexpected thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think you've connected a lot of people that might not have found each other otherwise, or it would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for saying that because
No,
I
it's
think
true.
meeting people in the comments is a great way to do it. Of hey, you guys like this blogger as well, and you
Yeah.
made such a thoughtful comments. So I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
check out your blog too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Delightful. So
Mm.
Well,
delightful.
maybe that's what this episode should be called. Joy is creating a sense of community because
Oh,
I
Yeah, there
think
you go.
I think
writing
that
it down.
right. I mean that
Oh,
is I think one of our answers for what helps us extend that note. Um, you meet somebody like your Aunt Diane, and you have the infectious spirit, and then you as you went down your list of inspirations, talking about Ross Gay's delight muscle. I think all
mm-hmm.
these things help us. Community helps us to exercise that muscle and
Yeah.
spread that infectious spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think about the way with you guys in this blog. I mean, not this blog, this podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's just you guys have built this sense of community by having folks on and you talk about what have you, dreams,
Hmm.
tea, soup, and it's just that's infectious too.
Yeah.
I'm drinking green tea now, and I had soup yesterday, and it's like that hey, there's this community of
Yeah.
like-minded folks of
Yep.
this, like we
Yeah.
appreciate, because that's joyful too of somebody coming on your podcast and
Hmm.
listing the, I love this and that, and getting that
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Feel like
Yeah.
you meet and know that person a little bit more,
Hmm.
based on
Yeah.
that 30-minute
Yeah.
Yeah.
conversation.
Well,
Oh,
and
that's
yeah,
so
just hearing
lovely.
somebody's voice. I heard somebody
Mm-hmm.
once talk about, I think they were some personality that was pretty well known, and they'd written books, they'd done podcasts, and they'd been on TV. And they described that they could tell when they met a new person who said, "Oh, I've, seen you,"
Mm.
based on how they approached them. They could
Mm.
tell which medium
Oh,
they knew them through, because TV, it
interesting.
was sort of more standoffish, like a little glitzier.
Huh.
Books, they dig right into the idea, but the
Mm.
podcast, people that knew this person
Mm.
through the podcast, they felt like friends.
Wow.
Aw.
And I
Oh,
thought it was really interesting because I think when you do
Oh,
come back day after day and you hear somebody's voice and the people that they talk to
yeah.
and
Wow.
bring
That's
forward.
cool.
good thought. I
Mhm.
don't think I've thought about it that way because you think about as far as here it's a conversation. You're
Mhm.
looking
Yeah.
at somebody's conversation and it's
Yeah.
you pick a topic and you go down the road and in different angles you swerve in and out. It's just and it's
Yeah.
just like over a dinner conversation. Like
Mm.
you
Yeah.
reminded me of your recent episode with Mark, I think
Mhm.
Petrushka.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
just like you guys were winging it, and it was just like a dinner conversation, and
Right.
Yeah.
there's that intimacy there of
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, yeah.
And I
Sometimes we
think,
swerve more than others.
oh, yeah. We were both kind of eye rolling or smirking when you said swerve. Oh, we
Oh,
do
I
that
didn't
a
mean
lot.
it. I didn't mean it in a negative way.
No,
Oh, no, we didn't take it that way, but I think it's true to form. But I was going to say, I think the open-endedness of what
Mhm.
you did, and putting the call
Mhm.
out was really powerful because I think, you were nice, to pay us a compliment. Thank you very much. But I think, what we're all trying to do is bring, person first stories,
Mhm.
and you're not being too specific, about what lane or what channel,
Mhm.
or do it this way. You were being very generous about what people could submit. It's kind of how Wynne and I like to be,
Mhm.
like in life and podcasting and other things that, the joy really is allowing people to be who they are,
Mhm.
right?
That's
Yeah.
that's a fantastic thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but I think you do that so well, and we
Mhm.
especially love all the little things that you bring us that are not just your beautiful written work, but all of the
Mhm.
visual
Mhm.
inspiration. I think of you as just such
Right.
a talented visual artist.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Well, thank you for this project and for podcasting about it and extending that
Yes.
note. It's been
Oh,
just delightful.
sure, delightful and joyful. I love talking with you
Yay.
guys.
Well,
Likewise. Likewise.
yes, thank you,
Thank you.
Dave.
Take care.
Bye.